Hello, Spud Buds. Non-Spud Buds who YouTube searched corrupted. Non-Spud Buds who YouTube searched corrupted for a completely unrelated reason. Stumbled upon this link and clicked it anyway. Because that's how the internet works. Sucking you in like tentacles to things completely unrelated to your original search. Regardless of whether you're here on purpose or not, I'm here talking about Corrupted's new album, Garten der Unbewusstheit. A Japanese funeral doom sludge band from Osaka who are apparently unsatisfied with their native language. Most of their previous albums were titled in Spanish with occasional English, and now we've moved on to German. Roughly translates to Garden of Unconsciousness. I had to Google search that one. Two of Corrupted's earlier albums, the ones titled in Spanish, El Mundo Frio and Se hace por los sueños asesinos, were both very well received and definitely displayed that sludge metal tag that you often see attached to Corrupted. But with Garten der Unbewusstheit, what I feel they've done is they've lost that sludge style and replaced it with a post-rock sensibility that I think is very deliberate and considerable here. They've lost that grimy, dirty feel that you get from the distortion with regular Funeral Doom albums, and you get that wavery, clean guitar tone, as well as when you get to the final track, Gekko no Daiichi, there's that definite post-rock swell structure to the song. I'm at a loss for what to call this. I've considered depressive post-rock, post-Funeral Doom. Either way, it's a considerable style change for the band, and I think it works quite well for them. It sees them replacing a lot of the more sludgy aspects, and you get a lot of build-up, a lot of quieter passages with acoustic guitars, as well as just slower sections with single wavering guitar tones, slow drumming with a lot of cymbal crashes. And vocalist Taiki often uses this more husky, throaty, whispering, chanting voice, as opposed to the typical guttural growls you see with Funeral Doom. These husky, I find it comparable to the whispering sections in Worship's Last Seed Eated Till Doomsday album. Other bands, Funeral, for example, would use more medieval acoustic sections with their Funeral Doom, almost with a folky style, and they'd incorporate clean female vocals as well to offset that kind of ugliness of the distorted Funeral Doom sections. And I feel what Corrupted has done, if they've taken a similar approach, except that they've taken those cleaner sections and spread them out so that cleaner, more melodic feel is present at all points during the album, even the heavier sections, because even with those heavier sections, even and with the guttural vocals that are still very present, you still get that clean melodic guitar line, and it gives the music a much better tonality that you wouldn't get from a straight Sun-like or Thurgathon-like rumble, or the spacey death metal feel you get from bands like Esoteric. A good comparison point would be the band EA. You get that melodic, swelling melody kind of feel to it. This adds more emotion to the music that it wouldn't get from that eerie, oppressive noise from other bands. It creates a more lucid approach to the style, and I feel that's what kept me enraptured with this album. It takes a lot of skill, not to mention balls, to put two 30-minute tracks onto an album, and then not to mention play quiet, molasses, slow music, and everything there is exposed, and you have to be deliberate to pull this stuff off, and Corrupted really does. The way I see it is, typical Funeral Doom is like a bowling ball. If you drop it onto a hard, flat surface, you're going to get that thud, and then it's going to roll around, and you get that kind of grinding noise from the ball against the floor. This, with Garten der Unbewusstheit, Corrupted is made like a bowling ball out of glass or ice. If you drop that on that same hard, flat surface, you're going to get that thunk, that satisfying thud. but you also get that shatter, and it kind of lifts and drifts away, and it's not quite as jarring, so to speak. And Corrupted have taken on a foreboding concept here, not only putting two 30-minute tracks onto an album with nothing but that one little 4-minute interlude to split them up, but also a considerable style change. And not only do they make it work, but they make it work phenomenally for them. Even the cleaner, softer acoustic passages where not much is going on musically are still very entertaining and still interesting to listen to. And once they hit that heavier funeral doom part, and especially the long, swelling post-rock meets funeral doom in Geku no Daiichi, are incredibly effective after you've waded through these murky passages. Overall, I'm very confident in giving a 9 to this album, 4.5 if you're working on the Sputnik Music 5-star scale. It, it's an absolute phenomenal album. I've listened to it straight through at least 4 times now, and I was severely worried that this would get boring, that it would be like a reverse of a grower, that it'd just get boring and old after a while, and it really hasn't. It has considerable staying value, and that's what impresses me most.